Hello and welcome to this Alabama adventure. Today we're off to Heflin, Alabama. That's in Cleveland County. We've had a lot of Bigfoot reports from out of Cleveland County in the last few months, but today the 7th grade boys at the Cleveland County Middle School are having a Mountain Man Day. They're having a Bigfoot expedition and they've invited us to come up and have lunch with them. So we're headed that way. You're invited to come along too. Now, many years ago I had a past life as a cattle drover in Texas, driving cattle from South Texas all the way to Sedalia, Missouri at the railhead where they could put them on the train and ship them back east for the restaurant. And our trail boss every morning as we were finishing breakfast would say, "Butt those saddles." So we're not butting saddles this morning, we're butting the front seat. And as I said, come along to Cleveland County and the Mountain Man Center with us today. So we're headed up that way. It looks like it's going to be a day of a lot of exciting adventures and a lot of fun. So we've got to go. We got about 2 hours to get there. First of all, I want to read you this email that I received a short time back from a very nice lady in Cleveland County. Her name is Jennifer Swafford, and she's a CCMS guidance counselor up there in Heflin. And she wrote me this email that said, "We're having a Mountain Men expedition for our 7th grade boys at the Cleveland Mountain Center on May 5th. Would you be available to come and share the legend of Bigfoot with our students?" And it's signed Jennifer Swafford, guidance counselor at Heflin, Alabama. And anytime that somebody asks me to talk about Bigfoot, as you know, I'm more than happy to go and do what we can. But what the Mountain Man expedition is, I'm going to read you another little email real quick to sort of explain what was going on up there that day. Okay, now, quickly I'm going to read you part of an email to kind of explain what the Mountain Men expedition was up there that day. It says, "We're naming our event CCMS Mountain Men. This will be an event focused on the issues and concerns that are important to middle school boys. The boys' biggest anxiety at this crucial stage of development is, how do I show that I'm a man? We will attempt to answer this question for our boys through example. We will have guest speakers and presenters that will become immediate role models who will listen, encourage, and believe in them. This will all take place through specifically planned activities the boys will be participating in while at the Mountain Center. The activities will include, but are not limited to, one of them was making a mountain meal for the grill, and what's more manly than grilling? There were several other activities that they all participated in that day, and they had a competition. As a matter of fact, the group was divided into 3 separate groups. They had a Bigfoot group, a Sasquatch group, and a Yeti group, and I'll tell you who won in just a few minutes. But when we arrived at the Mountain Center, I was very impressed at the facility. I was also very impressed with the personnel that worked there. They were extremely helpful. Very nice when we walked in the door, made us feel at home, made us feel very welcomed up there. They assisted us with setting up our equipment, which we did our presentation in the lunchroom while the boys enjoyed lunch. And it was a very nice lunch that someone had made. I'm not sure if the boys had made it or if someone else had made it that day, but it was very nice and very enjoyable, and we very much appreciated it up there that day. But anyway, whenever the boys came in to eat, that's when I found out what type of crowd that we'd be talking to. There were 75 boys up there that day, and I will have to say, as I was impressed with the staff at the Mountain Center, I was just as impressed with these young men up there that day. The way that they conducted themselves, their manners, I was just totally impressed. Now I'm going to quickly tell you the legend of Bigfoot that I told the 7th grade boys up there at the Mountain Center that afternoon. A question I'm asked almost daily: is Bigfoot real? And if so, does it freely roam the forest of Alabama? The answer to that question is known quite well by Native Americans. They say yes, there's an ancient hairy creature that resembles humans, only much larger. There is certainly something that leaves a deep, large track on the ground. I have heard in Indian lore, and now believe myself, that if you are Native American, or if you have Native American ancestry, then there is a creature that will come in close contact with you if you allow it to. It is a guardian of some type to those people. Ancient cave drawings hold the first clue to this creature's existence. Credible people around the world report seeing this creature. Even Teddy Roosevelt, President of the United States, told of encountering this hairy man-like creature. And you can Google that for all the details on that particular story if you would like to. We receive reports from across the state, the country, and now the world as well. We search for answers to the questions people ask who have encountered this creature, and we try to calm their fears. Alabama was once home to the Creek, Cherokee, Choctaw, and Chickasaw Indians long before Europeans came to settle here. The lush lands and abundant wildlife sustained their life for thousands of years, and according to these people's tribal legends, there is something else living here, lurking within the deep, dense forest. It is a large, hairy beast, known to them as hairy man. It has different names from tribe to tribe, but they all mean about the same thing: hairy man. It walks on 2 legs as we do. It's covered in long, coarse hair that comes in many colors, the most common being a reddish brown, then black, and on very rare occasion a white one is seen. Their height is usually reported around 9 feet and sometimes taller. It has a very muscular build and possesses tremendous strength. It can easily throw large stones great distances, and has even tossed 55-gallon oil barrels, which can weigh in excess of 500 pounds with little effort. It is said to have piercing eyes that sometimes glow, and glow different colors at different times. Indian legends claims they lived in harmony with this creature at one time, that they communicated and traded with them. Legend says that when man began to think he was better than the animals, that the animals and Bigfoot as well stopped talking and communicating with him. Indians often refer to Bigfoot as the ancient people and not as an animal. They, Bigfoot, now chooses to live away from us humans because of the way we act, our greed, our destruction of nature, our pollution of the earth, and our respect for absolutely nothing, and that we think we are better than them. Legend teaches us to let them live. They have always been here and have as much right to live on this planet as we do. If you don't bother them, they won't bother you, but they will observe you. They will watch you. They are a very curious creature. Indian legend also tells you do not look at one directly in the face should you encounter it. They could easily kill you should they decide to, and that they could hide or dispose of your body and you would most likely never be found. Stories and beliefs of Bigfoot exist commonly in Indian culture in Alabama and throughout North America. And now, after 45 years of investigation and research into this creature, I can say I totally believe the legend of Bigfoot 100%. For I have seen it numerous times, have communicated with it, photographed it, and videoed it, and have stood within a few feet from it and looked at it face to face. Which I guess I shouldn't have done, but I didn't know any better at the time. Then after our presentation was over with, the young men had to leave. They had to go on to some other activities. Time was kind of tied up there that afternoon. They had a lot more that they had to do after we got through. But several of these young men came up and introduced themselves and shook hands and told us how much they appreciated us taking time out of our schedule to come up and talk to them. And that was something that was not just talk to them early that morning of what to do whenever we got up there. That was something that came from a lifetime of their teachers, their parents setting examples for these young men how to act and respect other people. And they certainly showed us a lot of respect up there that day. My hat's off to Miss Swafford. My hat's off to all of their teachers they've had over the years from kindergarten through the 7th grade. My hat is especially off to their parents. And I would like to say to all the people of Cleveland County that in my opinion you have a very bright future coming your way with this group of young men soon to be the leaders of the county. Well, let me tell you that the day passed pretty quickly up there, and it wasn't long until we had to get our stuff packed up and hit the trail back home. And about time we did, I'm not sure if they had Bigfoot on the run up there, or if they were chasing him, or if he just smelled the good food and came in for a bite to eat. But Bigfoot came running through the lobby in the mountain center, and I managed to slow him down long enough to get this picture with him. And I'm very proud of that. Also would like to say out of the 3 groups up there that day, the Bigfoot group, the Sasquatch group, and the Yeti group, that the Yeti group was the overall winners of the competition up there that afternoon. I want to congratulate all those that were a member of that group, as well as all 3 groups. I congratulate all of you. Anyway, we decided that we had better get back on the road before it got dark, and as we were leaving out, coming down the mountain, we saw a few Bigfoot signs of our own up that way, and we're sure that these were authentic Bigfoot signs. We tried to video a few of them as we came down the mountain, and when we got back into Heflin, a lot of times we have one plan of which way we're coming home, and we get somewhere and just completely change our mind, and for some reason that's what happened that afternoon. We decided rather than coming right directly back home that we wanted to take a little scenic route up through the mountains. And this is some video that we shot. Very, very pretty scenery up in Upper Clay and Cleveland County. Anyway, at one point, we ran up on this old car. A man was sitting in it with his dog, and they were eating pizza up on top of one of these mountains. And we got to talk to him a few minutes. I asked him if I could make a picture of his car. It was a very old car, and I asked him what type of car this was. And he said it was a 1942 Studebaker Skyway Commander. Now, I believe that's exactly what it was called. You may correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was what he told me that the car was. And it was a very nice car, and he said, when I got to talking to him about the car, he said that the car was for sale, that he'd had it for many years, and he had traveled in it a lot, but said he was ready to get rid of the car, and if anybody out there sees this car and would be interested in purchasing it, if you would just contact me through the website or through the comments, I'll try to get back in touch with him to get you a price and get you in touch with him. I was also glad to meet his dog, Skipper, up there that afternoon, who wouldn't look at the camera. He was too occupied with eating pizza. But we do appreciate this gentleman allowing us to video this old car, which I had never seen one like it. And that was the story of our Mountain Men expedition at Mountain Center in Heflin on May 5th, 2016. And once again, would like to tell all of you how very much appreciated we were that you asked us to be there, and we look forward to seeing you again sometime. As I always do, I'd like to say hello to my granddaughter Madison. I would also like to tell you that the Alabama Bigfoot Society is run completely out of pocket. And if you like this video, we ask you to give us a like. And if you like what we're doing down here, we ask you to subscribe to the channel. And if you're in a position to where you could make a donation to the site, that would be very much appreciated. You can just go on the website, AlabamaBigfootSociety.com, and you'll find a place there on the front page to where you can make a donation. And if you have equipment, it would also very much be appreciated. Some of the members can certainly put it to use one way or the other. In one of our previous videos, I mentioned the loss of a good friend of mine about 2 weeks before Christmas. Her name was Officer Kelly Cotney. And since that video aired, one of you viewers were nice enough to send me a photograph of Kelly, and I'd like to share that photograph with you at this time so you can all meet her. Kelly was the animal control officer in Alexander City, Alabama. She died very tragically one morning in an automobile accident. She leaves behind 2 young sons of whom she was very proud, and she spoke up often. Kelly was 36 years old. And although I only knew her for a few months, I'm very glad that our paths were allowed to cross in this life. And with all that being said, I guess I'll be looking for you next time on the next Alabama Adventure, getting close to Bigfoot.